What have I got?
My friends are my tower. Let's go!
How's it going, ghost duels and non-binary fools? Welcome back to Nerd Explosion, the weekly podcast where based on a monthly theme, we nerd out about whatever we want. I'm Ken.
I'm Kate.
Did you forget who you were for a second?
No, you ever scratch your eyebrow so hard it resets your brain?
You just have that scratch so good, you're just like, shutting down, reboot.
I'm on the
restart system, updating Windows.
I'm on the manic side of a depressive episode, so I'm a little extra neurospicy today.
Today's episode, continuing, Halloween month, I kind of wanted to redo episode I did a while ago. I forget how long ago, like 3-ish years ago, back when this podcast was under a different name. Back when I named it whatever, which I don't know what the hell I was thinking then. It's kind of a dumb name.
Well, 2020 was kind of a dumb year to start a podcast, but
2021 is when I started doing podcast stuff, and it wasn't until 22, 23 that I actually started doing Nerd Explosion, which I'm like, you know what, this is the podcast I want to do.
I don't know, man. I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl.
I just got here. That's a beautiful song.
Anyway, getting to the theme for today's episode, or the topic.
Into the thick of it.
I'm redoing an old episode I did on fears.
I
talking about
conquered a fears.
Talking about fears, phobias. You conquered a fear?
I conquered it. Well, again, manic upswing of a depressive episode. So I was crying in the bathroom at my mom's house. And
go on.
I just happened to look down and there was this big old spider, like the biggest fucking indoor spider I've ever seen in my life. Just Jay chilling, and I was like, not in my house, and I killed it.
Well, good for you.
I will probably face Loki's wrath for that later, but
one of the fears we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, new episodes of the podcast come out every Saturday, so do all the things and do all the stuff on all the different platforms, whatever you listen on. But with that, let's talk about some fears.
Do you have any fears?
Do I have any fears?
I know you fucking do. So.
Do you have any fears?
Crippling. I'm a weak baby bitch. Okay, I'm comfortable enough in myself to admit that I'm scared of everything.
Oh, I guess before we get into more commonly known fears, let's talk about some of our own that we have. You want to start, or do I want to start?
I know one of your big ones.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation. Thalassophobia.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Thalassophobia is, for those that don't know, basically it's a fear of deep dark water, and basically if you're swimming out of the ocean. I think by definition it's a fear of deep dark water.
Well, first of all, you're not gonna catch me dead in the middle of the ocean.
That's
just asking to be eaten by sharks.
It just makes me so uneasy seeing deep dark water, and I'm I couldn't be involved in that because it's I don't know what's below me. I can't see the bottom.
So I was gonna ask, is it that you can't see the bottom, or that you don't know what's underneath, or is it both?
It's not so much that I can't see the bottom, it's just that if I can't see anything in the water, I don't know what's there. So it's really the fear of not knowing what's there. And
that's what they say. You don't have to worry about the shark you can see. You got to worry about the ones you can't.
Thanks. That really helps.
You're so welcome.
My fear.
No, but realistically, okay, I joke a lot about it, but I'm a huge advocate for shark conservation. Statistically speaking, you're gonna be struck by lightning way more easily, or more readily than you will be bitten by a shark.
Well, yeah, because with a shark, you have to actively go into its space for it to get you.
Yeah, also,
lightning could just be like, "Hey, fuck you." In
side
particular.
tangent. Can we stop calling it shark-infested waters? It's not fucking infested.
It's human-infested waters.
That would be like calling cities human-infested cities. Like that, it makes no fucking sense. Anyway, that's my tangent.
Yeah, thalassophobia is a big one of mine. I mean, that's why I can't even play games like Subnautica.
So is it just like the unknown and then not being able to see, or is it like, because I know at one point you said that like man-made stuff underwater freaks you out too?
Well, that doesn't really freak me out so much as like, I mean, it does kind of freak me out, but it's more so just the deep dark water, like not knowing what's there. The man-made stuff underwater is a whole different thing, but that's kind of one too. There is one, and I've seen a lot of videos on it, like in the past before I watched a couple of videos on it, of something called submechanophobia.
Yeah. Basically,
it's like, you know, animatronics underwater, like a fear of animatronics underwater. So like if you go to like a theme park or whatever, like let's say like a Jaws thing, and knowing that a big mechanical shark is under the water, you know, ready to pop out at you.
Yeah, that would be a hard no for me. Like, I'm not trying to... No.
Yeah.
Stuff that shouldn't exist in the water and
stuff
is
that shouldn't
stresses
be in
me
the
out.
water and is.
Like, I don't know if it necessarily scares me, but like it stresses me out. I don't like it.
Like, I could easily be underwater with like a coral reef, like, you know, semi-crystal, semi-clear water, just seeing all fish swimming around. That's fine, because I can at least see like the bottom of something. But you put me like in the middle of the ocean and I look down and I just see nothing but just emptiness. No thank you.
Right.
Not about that. I used to have a fear of heights, but I kind of got over that. I still kind of do have a fear of heights, but it has to be like a certain height.
Actually, it's not a fear of heights, it's a fear of falling.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I don't even believe that, because like I'm not scared to fall. I'm afraid of being off the ground. Like, humans were not meant to leave the surface of the earth.
Like, I've shoveled plenty of roofs at my job. I could be up on the roof of a house, fine. But like, I go to Mall of America and I'm on like the 4th floor and I look down. That makes me a little uneasy. Makes my butthole clench.
Makes my butthole clench.
Like, literally, and I don't care if this is too much information, because I'm sure other people get this too. You ever do a thing where you like imagine something like happening, or you think of something that's gonna happen, and like your whole body from like your butthole down to your legs just tightens? Your body just does a little
So when you look over the edge of something, you don't have the urge to jump?
I mean, I don't say it out loud.
Fun fact, in French they have a term for that. It's called l'appel de void, the call of the void.
In French I call that le splat.
Le splat.
Because when you fall, you go le splat.
Obviously, I know I butchered that pronunciation. Clearly, I don't speak French.
I do. Oui, monsieur. Un baguette. Mon ami.
Mon ami means my friend. Mon amour is love. Fun fact.
But yeah, no, fear or heights for me is like I have to be high up for me to be like, I don't like this. Unless like, I mean, it's different if I know I'm safe. Like, if I know I'm not gonna fall, then I'm okay.
See, I'm just traumatized because I went to Valley Fair with my dad and with my whole family, but my dad tricked me into going on to Power Tower.
Oh, Power Tower.
And
that's what I will do.
He was like, it's fine, like it'll be fine. And I was like, okay, so we went up. I had my eyes clenched the whole time, and you know, it drops you and then it kind of slowly picks you back up. I can't remember if we were on the blue tower or the red one, but it's the one that
one just zooms you up and slowly goes back down, and one just slowly goes all the way to the top and then just drops you.
Yeah, so this one, I think it was the red one, because we kind of just slowly like clicked up, and then we got about halfway up, and then it dropped a little bit, And then we started clicking back up, and then I kept like climbing and dropping and climbing and dropping, and I was so disoriented. I was like 14 maybe. And my dad's like, it's okay, you can look, we're close to the bottom, you can look. So, and he's
you
like,
were at the very top.
He's got my hand, like I'm holding his hand, right, squeezing for dear life, because like I said, I'm a little bitch baby.
Okay, I trust you, Dad.
And so I was like 14. I trust my father implicitly. I open my eyes, and I am at the top of the tower. I look out, I can see the whole park. I just turned wide-eyed and looked at my dad, and he fucking lost it. He started laughing hysterically, and he was like, he couldn't even breathe. And then it jokes on him, because then at that moment the tower dropped. I screamed like a little girl, and he was laughing so hard that when it fell, like it knocked the wind out of him. So I was like, serves you right, you fucking asshole. But yeah, so I don't do heights either.
Yeah, I don't know. I really can't think of any other fears I have that aren't like typical. I do have some like emotional based fears, some mental health based fears.
I am cripplingly I have a crippling fear. Crippling arachnophobia.
Would you say tripling? Oh wait, no, yes.
Oh my god. I
now
see
that I think about
a
it, I'm
spider,
like, oh yeah.
I see a spider and I fully forget how to function. I go into fight or flight so fast, and unfortunately,
you saw a cobweb on our slide glass door, and you were just like, no.
I was gonna open the windows one day. I pushed open the blinds, and I saw like this. It was a spider web. Thank you. And there was a spider in the door. I saw the spider web, and I was like, nope, not today. And I just closed the blinds and walked away. I was like, I guess I'll just be hot. No, I don't do spiders. And it's so bad that I can't even be around hermit crabs.
See,
like even hermit crabs freak me out.
See, I'm okay with spiders to a point. Like I see a small spider, I'm like, oh, okay, it's a small spider, whatever. I can handle small spiders, but you put me in the presence of like a tarantula? No, thank you. I don't do big ones. I can't do big spiders.
And I mean this with
That's why you never catch me dead in Australia.
I mean this with my full chest. I would rather saw through my own arm than be in a room with a tarantula, caged or not. Like
if I had like a daddy long legs, like right here, I'm like, oh okay, just a little guy. When you put a tarantula there, I'm like, nope, I'm burning this whole place to the ground.
The spider lives there now, burn it to the ground.
This is the tarantula's apartment now.
Like first of all, yeah, you're never gonna catch me in Australia for any reason.
Yeah, huntsman spiders.
No.
Nope. Hell.
Oh, and the Goliath bird-eating spider? Nah.
I mean, with a name like bird-eating spider?
Oh, and then these fucking nature yahoos get on the TV and they're like, oh, they're harmless to human beings. I don't give a
While they're holding it like it's a fucking puppy.
I don't give a fuck. Nothing should have that many eyeballs and that many legs. It's unnatural. I don't like it.
Now, it's a different story if it's on me. Like, I could see, like, again, I could look, like, on the ground, see a daddy long legs going along the floor. I'm like, oh, okay. I look down and I see one crawling on my arm. I'm just like,
yeah. I need, yeah, no. Well, and then the one time, I think, were you with me when I traumatized myself at fucking, was it Petco or PetSmart?
I don't remember.
The one in Apple Valley. But I saw this tank and I was like, ooh, what's in here, right? Big ass tarantula sprung from the back of the tank and like fully splayed out onto the glass. I screamed so loud. The store attendant was laughing hysterically and I was like, it's not funny. And then she looks at me.
Wanted to be your friend.
She looks at me and she was like, oh yeah, she's playful, she does that. And I was like, burn it.
She just wanted to be your friend.
She's like, she just does that. And I was like, no, there was no reason she needed to attack, because of course I couldn't see what was in there and it wasn't like labeled, or I didn't see the label or whatever. So I got like inches from the glass and this thing sprung out at me. I damn near pissed my pants.
Oh, yes, I remember this now.
I came flying around the corner, and he's looking at me like, what the actual fuck just happened?
Like, what actually happened?
I was like, we need to go. We need to go right now. It's going to come out of its tank, and it's coming after me.
See, like I said, I'm not that afraid of spiders. Snakes are kind of another thing, too.
See, which is crazy because snakes don't bother me at all.
And I'm not really that bothered by snakes either, like the little ones. It's like the same thing with spiders. For me, the little ones aren't bad, like little garter snakes or whatever. The bigger ones and the more deadlier ones are the ones that really, like, get to me.
See, and...
like, I don't want to be in the same room with something that has the power to kill me.
You live with me.
Yeah, but you're something I can handle.
Bold assumption.
A snake acts on instinct.
Well, yeah,
you have human brain power.
Well,
you have cognitive thinking.
What I have is a gremlin on a hamster wheel up here. Okay, let's be perfectly clear. But humans are not on the food chain, or we're not on the menu, so to speak.
We're on the menu if they got nothing else.
Nah.
But I don't know, if I could be around like if a snake is like friendly, like let's say you take like a python or whatever, and it's friendly or whatever, and all it does is just hang out on you, and somebody's like, here, hold this. I'd just be like, okay. I don't do it because I'm curious, but also I'm like, okay, you have about 5 seconds to get this thing off me. Like, I just thought of a Good Mythical Morning, and there was that one episode. I was wearing
that shirt earlier today.
There was one episode where they were doing like yoga or whatever, but both Rhett and Link had the pythons on them.
Lizard King.
And Rhett's all chill with it, but Link is just sitting there like.
Poor Link is fully panicked.
He literally froze in place because he was panicking.
Which, I mean...
you can do it, Lizard King.
You can do it, Lizard King. And he's just like, yeah, same. But like...
I love... So they reset him, right? They took the snake off, reset him, had his glasses on. They put the snake back on, and the head of the snake was up by his arm that he had up. And then Link just, still frozen, slowly turns, he's like... Look.
Like, I don't know that I necessarily want to, like, seek out a venomous snake.
Like, you're not going to catch me dead in the same room as a cobra.
No.
But, like, if I see a little garter snake going along, like, the grass, if I'm walking, like, around at work and I see a little garter snake, that doesn't bother me, because more than likely it's more scared of me than I would be of it.
I mean, that's true of most things. Like, people say that to me all the time. Like, oh, it's more scared of you than it. I don't care. It has fangs. Get it away from me. I saw a video. Oh my God. I don't know how I came across this, but I saw a video. Somebody was recording their fucking pet tarantula, which, first of all, why? What's the matter with you? It was cleaning its fangs with its little front feet, and I wanted it to be cute so bad, and as soon as it like lifted up and those fangs came out, I was like, negative, Ghost Rider, get me the fuck out of here.
So that kind of makes me think of something that I wanted to ask you. What do you think of those videos of those like little tiny spiders?
Okay, the jumping spiders. When they do the
things, they do the little.
The jumping spiders, still very scary, but I will concede they are cute. And I like their little helmets when they shed.
Like, I don't know what type of spider it is, but like there's videos of them where they'll lift up their front legs and do a little like.
Yeah, they're called jumping spiders.
Are those jumping spiders?
Yeah, they are cute. I will concede to that.
Do a little dancey dance.
Yeah, they do their little dancey dance. However, if I woke up and came face to face with one, peeing my pants immediately.
Peeing my pants, burning down the house.
Immediately.
Burning down the house. I guess as long as we're on the topic of animals, are there any other animals that you're not too fond of?
Oh. So here's the thing. Fear is tricky, right? Because the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
But fear...
Before you continue, I just thought of a vine from one of my favorite creators, I forget his name. But he's like, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And weasels. Those little bastards are tricky.
They are. Can confirm weasels are bastards. No, but here's the thing, right? Because fear is one of our base human instincts, and it's designed to keep us safe. If we see something, and so I read recently.
Isn't it more so fear of the unknown, like not knowing what's going to happen?
No, well, yes, but no. So I just recently read, and I strongly recommend, by the way, The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker. And he basically explains that, I think he's a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or he's in that field of work. And he's basically explaining, so this is going to get a little dark for a second, just bear with me, but I figured it's appropriate for a spoopy month. So the first story that he's telling is about, with her permission, of course, one of his, I don't know if she was a client or just somebody he knew. Anyway, he had her explicit permission to share this because it's a fascinating subject, but she was attacked in her own home. And she was like, so what had happened was she was carrying groceries in, and then out of nowhere, this super normal looking dude just like came out from behind the staircase and was like, oh, you look like you're struggling. Let me help you with that. And she said immediately, her danger sense was like, something's not right. Like, I need to get out of this situation. Like, this is not a safe situation to be in. And then she was like, and then I was kicking myself because I was like, this is a normal dude. Like, he doesn't look scary. He looks pretty normal. Like, he's just offering to help me carry my groceries. So they get up to her apartment. She gets in. He kind of like charms his way in or whatever. And then he, trigger warning, assaults her. And he goes into the kitchen for something, and her fight or flight kicks in. And she was like, I have to get out of here because if I don't get out of here, he is going to kill me. She got out, spoiler alert. So what she did, and this was genius, is that when he came back in, he went to go back out again, and as quietly as she could with her sheet kind of up in front of her, she followed him out of the bedroom until he turned in the kitchen, and she booked it through the front door and just like booked it downstairs to her neighbor's house and called the police, and he was arrested and everything. It all's well that ends well. But what the book is telling you is that we have that baseline instinct for a reason. If you are, there's something, and it's a chemical it's a physical chemical reaction that when somebody has ill intentions or nefarious thoughts, they emit a different kind of pheromone, and that's what our body's reacting to, and that's why we feel that uneasy, like, I gotta get out of here, my spidey senses are tingling, something's wrong. Yeah,
fear is kind of a survival instinct.
Yeah, so the whole purpose of this book was, you have that baseline fear for a reason, listen to it, don't ignore it.
That's, yeah, because like your brain, like the reason, I could be wrong because I have no basis for this, but I feel like when people get scared and they scream, that's your brain's reaction to be like, oh, I'm in danger, I need to make a loud noise.
Yeah, to alert somebody or to scare off a predator potentially. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, that book again was The Gift of Fear by Gavin DeBecker.
Also, the fight or flight
Strongly
thing.
recommend.
I didn't fully understand it until like 2017 when we did our wedding party thing. Mm-hmm. So we went to Valley Scare, which for those of you who don't know, is Valley Fair's Halloween event that they have. And they had a bunch of different houses. And I think you and I went through, we're going through one of the houses, and there were like two girls in front of us. And every time something jumped out, this girl would square up. Like every time she got scared, she literally just like put up her dukes like she was ready to fight.
She really did. Every time she'd be like, ha! And then her fist would come up, and I was like, this girl.
Even her friend had to be like, stop.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Like I literally thought she was gonna punch one of these actors. Also, that's a thing I would love to do. It's kind of a side tangent. One of these years, I should sign up to be a scare actor for something, either Valley Scare or some Halloween event.
I think Screamtown is superior in my humble opinion, but
I feel like that would be really fun just to do a Halloween event and just to, basically get paid to scare people all night. And also, another side note, tip for those people, if you go to a Halloween thing that has scare actors, don't get mad when they scare you.
It's their literal job.
And if you don't want to be scared, why are you going in the first place?
See, I have a love-hate...
And here's the thing. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I'm getting up on my soapbox here.
Guess I'll go fuck myself.
So, Valley Scare is selling this thing called the No Boo necklace, right? Mm-hmm. And it's basically a necklace that's supposed to notify the actors or whatever not to scare you or your group, right? Just, you don't want to be scared. And that's fine if you don't want to be scared but then don't fucking go to a Halloween thing.
See,
don't go to a scary thing if you don't want to be scared.
And I don't want to be scared, but I also love it. I have a love-hate relationship.
You're not actively seeking out being scared, but
I hate it in the moment.
It's an adrenaline thing, really.
I'm for sure an adrenaline junkie. In the moment, I hate it, and I'm like, why do I do this to myself? I know I don't like this. Why do I keep putting myself through this? And then at the end of it, when the adrenaline kind of kicks in and the adrenaline kind of wears off, and you're left with that full body euphoria, I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I do it. That was really fun.
Right? There's something about being scared that's just it's little release of endorphins or whatever. Where you're sitting there and then a few seconds there, that was great.
I like the idea of being scared. I like the false sense of danger. I'm never going to actively try to put myself in a dangerous situation. But if I can suspend reality for a little bit and pretend, if I can be tricked into thinking oh, that guy with the chainsaw really is actually coming after me, I need to run for my life.
Right.
That's the kind of shit I'm into. Also, we should do something spooky for Halloween.
We already planned a party, but...
Well, yeah, but that's the weekend before.
Planning on the podcast.
Yeah, because, Halloween's my favorite time of year. I love it. Except for 2016.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
I will watch the scary movies. I'll watch Saw. I'll watch Scream. I'll watch the Halloween movies.
Speaking of Halloween
Friday the 13th movies are my favorite.
I really gotta start watching Terrifier.
That is the one thing.
Because now that I'm getting fed more Terrifier content, and I've never seen the movie.
That is the one thing I will not do.
You're not gonna see Terrifier?
I do not fuck with clowns.
See, that's another fear. I guess we can get into that. A lot of people have a drastic fear of clowns. My sister has a fear of clowns.
I hate clowns. I hate clowns.
I'm a little indifferent with clowns. I don't find them inherently scary unless one's coming after me.
The only clowns I will tolerate is killer clowns from outer space.
Okay, no, here's my thing. I'm not scared of clowns necessarily, unless that clown is where it's not supposed to be.
Okay,
if I'm driving down the road,
where are clowns supposed to be?
Okay, so if I'm driving down a road, right, just a wooded road, and then I see a clown on the side of the road, no.
Yeah, that's a homicidal maniac.
If a clown, where a clown is supposed to be, at a birthday party or at a circus.
I will contend with the circus. If a clown isn't where it's supposed to, clowns have no business being.
Clowns need to stay in their own environment.
Stay at the circus. I'm looking at you, Chuckles.
At the circus or a birthday party. Don't just show up. If I see a clown at Costco, I'm not shopping at Costco.
In 2016, we had a fucking clown epidemic, and there was killer clowns on every corner, it felt like.
Was there any actually... God, let me start that sentence over.
This is my actual fucking nightmare.
Were there any actual killings from that, or was it just a fad for people to show up as clowns?
I don't know. People tried to say it was a publicity stunt for it.
Yeah, just people dressing up as clowns and just showing up at places.
But, and I'll watch it because technically, not a clown. Technically speaking, not a clown.
See, I can't be scared of the original It because I know it's Tim Curry under there.
Oh, God. I love Tim Curry. We should do a whole episode on Tim Curry. I could talk about him for hours.
Well, there might be something involved with Tim Curry that we could probably talk about on the next episode of this podcast.
But
Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, technically it's the only clown that I can handle because he's technically a shape-shifting alien. So I can kind of suspend that, but
well,
I don't fuck with clowns.
So
I hate clowns.
You can't do, or Pennywise is pretty okay. Well, okay, here's the thing with Pennywise. You said you're okay with Tim Curry Pennywise, right? How about Bill Skarsgård Pennywise?
Bill Skarsgård fucking killed that role. Can we talk about that?
Like the newer It?
It was scary. It was unsettling. It made my skin itch. It's all the things about a horror situation that I love.
I love the differences between the voices too, because Tim Curry's Pennywise is just like, hello, Georgie. He had a typical clown voice. And then Bill Skarsgård is just like,
there's a nice boat.
hello, Georgie. What a nice boat.
Bill Skarsgård fully
Especially
devoured.
because he has the ability to just make his eyes go different directions naturally.
Yeah. He's wicked scary. I love him.
So I've seen a behind the scenes video. I think it's from the first chapter, and it must be the scene where the kids are beating up Pennywise and defeating him or whatever. But it's before they film the scene, and then Bill Skarsgård in full Pennywise get up, goes up to the kids before they start rolling. He's like, all right, who's ready to beat the shit out of me?
Who's ready to beat the
As
shit
he's
out of
high-fiving
me?
each of these kids as Pennywise.
My favorite moment in an interview with him about it was when he was talking about the one scene, because he's like, Pennywise hates children, right? Absolutely despises them. And he's like, there's this one scene where I'm screaming at this kid in this kid's face and just being super scary. And he's crying and sniveling, and he's just really terrified. And he's like, and I felt bad. And he's like, and then we cut, and I went to go comfort him. Are you okay? We don't have to do this. Blah blah. And he goes, and then this kid just goes to me. And he's like, that was great, man. You're killing it. Just really keep up the energy.
Wasn't that no, I can't think of the kid's name, but
I can't think of it either.
The only one of the kids I know from the the remake, I guess, is Finn Wolfhard.
No, it wasn't Finn.
It wasn't Finn. It was it one of the other kids that's also in Stranger Things?
I don't remember who he was talking about, but I just remember
all the kids in that. But more on clowns, I guess. So I'm trying to think of other infamous scary clowns. Other than the clowns from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Obviously, Art the Clown from Terrifier.
So, a friend of mine...
I unironically love Art the Clown, though.
A friend of mine sent me... They were talking about Art the Clown, and I was like... They just kept saying, Art the Clown, Art the Clown, Art the... And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I've never seen any of the Terrifier movies because, again... scared of clowns.
Yeah, and apparently the third one just came out in theater.
This guy also super scared of clowns. Thanks for the nightmare fuel. And he was like, oh my god, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. But I do like the memes that come out of...
Could very well turn out to not be my thing, but I've just seen a lot of content from it. Obviously, as I mentioned to you, the Ice Nine Kills did a new song for Terror. That's the name of the song. Yeah, work of art. Ice Nine Kills does a lot of songs based off of horror franchises.
The circus music in the background of that song, banger.
But yeah, definitely go listen to Ice Nine Kills. They're top notch. They do songs for every I want to say every horror franchise. My favorite recently, Funeral Derangements, is a parody of, well, not really a parody, but it's based off of Pet Sematary, which is a movie I've never seen, but I know what it's about. Have you ever seen Pet Sematary?
Pet Sematary?
Yeah.
I saw I want to say original, but I haven't seen the new one.
As far as I know, it's basically either a pet dies or a kid dies or whatever, dies, and they bury it in this kind of sketchy graveyard, and this graveyard has a curse on it that brings things back to life. So I think then the kid's all excited that the animal is alive, but then the kid dies, and then the dad goes insane and kills the son and wife and buries them in this. I may be misquoting it because, like I said, I've never seen it, but That's at least my understanding of it.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Do we want to talk about any more fear of our personal fears, or should I go through this list and then kind of have it come up as I go through?
You can go through the list.
All right, so I'm looking on this thing from verywellmind.com. The 10 of the most common phobias. We have arachnophobia, which, fear of spiders. Ophidiophobia, which is a fear of snakes. Acrophobia, fear of heights. Aerophobia, fear of flying. Cynophobia, which is a fear of dogs.
I was going to ask a really stupid question, so I just kept my mouth shut.
Now, I've known somebody with a fear of dogs. Like, I know my ex, well, no, she didn't really have a fear of dogs. She had a fear of certain dogs. And, like, that I can totally understand. Like, personally, I love dogs, but I can also see why somebody would have a traumatic experience and be afraid of dogs.
So we are currently almost in a full moon. And it was very clear and bright last night as I was leaving my parents' house. I walked out to my car, parked in the street, walked out to my car. As I'm traipsing through the yard, minding my business, taking my sweet old time, I heard what sounded like a grown man scream and then a dog bark. When I tell you, I hauled ass to my car.
We got them werewolves out here.
I was like, not today. Not
werewolves.
Today. You're not going to catch me slipping. So yeah, I could totally see how people would be afraid of dogs, especially big dogs.
All right, next on this list we have astrophobia, which is an intense fear of thunder and lightning. Trypanophobia, which is a fear of injections. Social phobia, an intense fear of social interactions. I believe we just call that
Social
anxiety. Agoraphobia, intense fear of places that are difficult to escape, sometimes involving a fear of crowded or open spaces. And mysophobia, intense fear of germs, dirt, or other contaminants, otherwise known as germaphobe.
Ooh, that one I kind of get.
Yeah, I can kind of get that. Like, I know that's a very real thing.
Like when people are sick around me, my skin gets prickly.
Well, I wouldn't say that a phobia. I'd say a phobia for that is like
a phobia.
Constantly, like if you're like a germaphobe like that, you're constantly sanitizing yourself. You're like wearing a mask every chance you get.
And I think, don't quote me on this, but I think a lot of people that struggle with OCD struggle with that to some degree too.
Yes, I would believe that being a germaphobe is some form of OCD. Because, the constant need to be clean and whatnot. I found some, like, weird fears, but I don't know. Do we want to talk about more?
Oh, I thought of another one.
Did we want to get personal with some fears?
I thought of another personal one.
No, go ahead.
Claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia? I kind of have that, too.
I cannot function in small spaces.
I can't either. Like, if I can't move... Well, actually, no. My thing isn't claustrophobia. No, go on about claustrophobia, because my thing is... Now I'm realizing it's different.
I had to go into my parents' crawl space recently for something. And it's not a small space. I mean, it takes up... Have you ever been in my parents' crawl space?
Yeah, I mean, it's not... There's a lot more room in your parents' crawl space than there is in my parents' crawl space.
Yeah, so I had to go in there recently.
It's a lot less dingy.
So it slants down because it's underneath the staircase, and it slants down, and then it kind of spreads out underneath the first level of the house, right? I don't know, and you can fully sit up in there. Like, I mean, it's not tiny, but there was a moment when I was in the crawl space. I was looking for something, and I started to fully have a panic attack. I was like, it's too small, it's too crowded, I'm not going to be able to get out, I'm going to die in here, nobody's going to be able to get to me, like fully panicking. And I had to I crawled so fast. I army crawled out of that bitch. And
I felt so fast.
So fast. And they run so fast. No, I was like, I can't go back in there. I just can't do it. And my mom was like, it's literally fine. And I was like, no, it's not. That and being buried alive. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. Definitely not. I can't find the word for it, but the thing I realized it's not so much claustrophobia. I mean, I do have a little bit of that, but one of the biggest fears I have, and I can't find the word for it, if there even is a word, fear of being paralyzed. Like, nothing freaks me out more than just, suddenly not being able to move anything. Like, I remember once, like, the first time I dealt with sleep paralysis. Mm-hmm. Like, I woke up and I couldn't move. I freaked the fuck out. That was one of the scariest things I ever experienced. Just,
So I got some bad news for you.
Just being awake, looking around, but not being able to move anything in my body.
The fear of being paralyzed can be caused by a number of things, including anxiety disorders and obsessive compulsive disorder. So in anxiety disorders, it manifests as, so it says anxiety can cause a feeling of paralysis that can be physical or emotional. Symptoms include difficulty moving, speaking, or thinking, heavy or immobile arms and legs, increased heart rate, rapid or shallow breathing, persistent negative thoughts. In OCD can cause intrusive thoughts about physical and mental health, which can lead to the fear of paralysis. People of OCD may also experience hyper-awareness of their body and physical sensations, increased anxiety, stress, and worry, avoiding people, places, and things that could cause paralysis. A freeze response. When somebody feels threatened, the amygdala signals the anyway. I know the word.
Gave up on reading that word.
The hypothalamus.
Let me see the word. Where am I looking?
The big H word.
The big H word. That helps.
The middle of underneath.
Hypothalamus.
Yeah, hypothalamus. Thank you. I graduated high school, I promise. When someone feels threatened, the amygdala signals the
hypothalamus.
Thank you. To release stress hormones, which can activate the freeze response. This can make somebody feel paralyzed. Okay, so the other thing, since you brought it up, I kind of wanted to touch on just basic.
See, I don't know if necessarily it's a fear of being paralyzed. It's more specific sleep paralysis.
Oh yeah, so sleep paralysis
I guess it's a fear of being paralyzed, but
different being.
Nothing's scarier to me than being woken up and not being able to move my body except for my eyes.
Fortunately, have never experienced sleep paralysis, but it sounds like a waking nightmare.
Yeah, I have once in my life, and it's, at least to me, it was terrifying. Like, you just imagine, you sleeping and you wake up. You can only move your eyes, but none of the rest of your body can move.
No, I wouldn't be able to handle that. But since we brought it up, I did kind of want to touch on it. So the flight or fight response is commonly referred to as flight or fight, but there are actually 4 stress responses.
Oh, 4. I thought you were going to say 3 because fight, flight, freeze.
There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So let me pull this up so that I'm accurate.
Oh God, here comes the book talk side of you. Somebody call up Sarah H. Maas. Right, is that the name of the author?
Sarah J. Maas.
Sarah J. Maas.
Okay, so I'll just touch on these really quick.
Somebody called up the Court of Titanius.
Because my fight or flight response, so to speak, is heavily weighted towards fawn. And once I read it, you're going to be like, yeah, that checks out. Okay, so fight, flight, freeze, and fawn.
Fight, flight, fuck.
Are automatic responses that the body uses to protect itself from danger. Fight, a direct confrontation of a threat, often through aggression or assertiveness. Flight, an instinctive urge to escape or avoid a threat by creating physical or emotional distance. I do that too. Freeze, a state of immobility or paralysis, often a reaction to grape or SA. And fawn, an attempt to please or appease the threat to avoid the contact, often through people-pleasing or submission.
Yeah, that checks out.
9 times out of 10, and it's something that I'm working on because it is not healthy and I'm fully aware of that, but But 9 times out of 10, I will choose to be the people pleaser, and I will become very submissive. And whatever you need, I can do for you, because I avoid conflict to such a degree that I'm like, you know what? Fuck my own comfortability. Just get me out of the situation. I'm just gonna do whatever I have to make you happy, so I can move on.
I think that's kind of where one of my other personal fears is too. Like, I have a fear of losing people. I think because that's why, like, I try to be such a people pleaser, because I'm afraid.
Well, you were also raised as the eldest, and that is a very oldest child trait.
I'm such a people pleaser because I have a fear that people are just one day be like, you know what, fuck you, and then I'm gonna be alone. I guess it's more so really I'm
a fear
discovering myself through the podcast. Fear of being alone.
So way back in the day when I was actively seeking therapy, my therapist said something to me that resonated with me to this day, because I said the same thing. I was like, I'm afraid that if I start setting boundaries, I'm going to lose people. And she looked at me and she said, then do you really want them in your life to begin with? If you setting boundaries to make yourself feel safe and comfortable upsets them to the point that they leave, that's not the kind of person you want around you anyway.
That is true.
And I was like, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
And like me, so like, yeah, I have fear of being alone, and I don't know if this really ties into anything, but I guess I kind of have a fear of failure.
Yeah, but
it's not so much a fear of failure. I just hate feeling like, or feeling like I failed people.
That's also a very oldest child trait too, though, because this whole thing with like the drama surrounding my family right now that I'm not going to get into, like, I'm taking all of it on, and I don't need to, but I'm taking it on because as the eldest, I feel like it's my job, and I have to keep the peace, and I'm afraid that if I don't take it all on, everything's going to implode.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't necessarily know if that is like, if that fear of failure, like you're talking about, is a fear, or if it's just something intrinsically that we have being in that people pleaser box. You know what I mean?
Like being, well, the only difference is you are actually the eldest, and I was only raised as the eldest because my older sister did not live with us.
Well, right, but either way, technically speaking, you were the eldest.
In the house, yeah. I was the oldest.
And not to pull this card, but I have it extra rough because I'm the eldest daughter. So not only am I expected to keep my siblings together, but I'm also expected to take care of my parents. And I was the first daughter, the first granddaughter, and the first niece in a European family. So there's a lot of pressure there.
Yep.
Those Scandinavian folks don't fuck around.
Scandinavian.
Give it to your sister.
What else? Ooh, how about this? I found this on Merriam-Webster.com. 14 phobias you probably haven't heard of.
Ooh.
So first we got hephiphobia.
Was that the fear of heffalumps and woozles?
Morbid fear of being touched.
I dislike being touched. Is that the same thing?
I have a little bit of something like that. It's called anxiety.
Don't touch me.
It's called my personal bubble.
Like, okay, let me rephrase. I'm not like a lizard person.
Might play into like germaphobe.
I don't dislike being touched, but like if I don't know you, don't fucking touch me.
Right? Like if I'm knowing you for the first, like if I don't know who you are and you just come up to me and touch me, like, don't.
That's what stressed me out the most about meeting your family for the first time, because your family, they're all huggers.
Yeah.
And my family was not very physically affectionate. We just roasted the fuck out of each other. Like, that's how we showed love.
Right.
So, like, when your mom came up to me for the first time to hug me when she first met me, I was like, oh, no. I don't know what to do.
And, well, it's not really a fear. It's just one thing I personally despise when, I'll do something nice for a stranger, and it's like an older gentleman or whatever, and they'll respond with, "Thanks, brother." Like, don't fucking call me brother. You don't know me.
I'm burnt out, brother.
I'm burnt out, brother. All right. Moving on.
See, and I have the opposite reaction because when I help out, and it's older women especially, and they call me baby, I'm like, "Aw."
See, that's different. Just a random creepy old guy call me brother. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, that's creepy.
You don't know me enough to call me that.
But like when you help an old lady reach something off the shelf at a grocery store.
Bro is different. Just bro is colloquial.
Yeah, like when you reach the high can of whatever for the old lady at the grocery store, and she's like, "Oh, bless your heart, baby," and I'm like, "Please take me home with you."
I mean, only one of us to reach the high can on the shelf.
Listen.
Shout out to my tall kings.
Listen, I am proud 5'5". I am not short.
I'm a proud 6'3".
Shut the fuck up. Continue with your list.
All right, we have
6'3", motherfucker.
Dorophobia, the dread of touching the skin or fur of an animal. I can't imagine
I can totally see that.
Looking at an animal and just thinking, ew.
Oh, I can.
I mean, certain animals, yeah. Because some animals just look sticky.
I'm not gonna have sex with you. You're too sticky.
We have eremophobia, the morbid dread of being alone.
That's you. That's what you have.
Like, it's not... No, my thing is more... I think this is more of, like, just literally being by yourself. Whereas my fear is, like... having no one else. Like, living through life with just me. Just me to rely on.
See, and I honestly, I think for a little bit, I would thrive on my own.
Like me, if I didn't have family or friends to rely on, like, I couldn't do it.
I guess as long as I had, like, if I could go out and get some kind of human interaction, I think genuinely I would thrive in an environment where it was just me.
Oh yeah, well there is that. So I guess it wouldn't be entirely terrible, but if like I was like in the woods by myself, right,
locked in the cabin in the woods by yourself,
I would kill myself.
Absolutely not.
I would 100% just fucking gun in mouth, boom.
For like a couple days, I'd be like, "This is kind of nice," and then by day 3, I'd be like, "I'm fully insane."
No, I'd be like, for the first day, I'd just be like, "Yeah, it's fine," and then like 3 days later, you'd send a search party, open up the cabin, and just see me in the corner and be like,
with the Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Crazy?
Great
I was crazy once. They locked me in a room. A rubber room. A rubber room with rats. The rats made me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once.
Oh my god, I was at my parents' house yesterday. I spent a lot of time with my parents. And I walked upstairs and Gus had a look on my face and my dad was like, "Are you good, fam?" And I was like, "I need a grippy sock vacation." And he was like, "You check yourself into the funny farm?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "They're coming to take me away."
They're coming to take me away. Haha. They're coming to take me away. Haha. Ho ho. Wee hee.
He did the whole thing.
Out to the funny farm.
He did the whole thing and he like skipped out of the kitchen as he did it. And I was like, "Okay, you fucking theater kid." My dad's so wonderfully weird.
I can't even remember how that all goes.
They're coming to take me away.
Haha. They're coming to take me away. Haha. Ho ho hee. To the funny farm.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna check myself in a grippy sock vacation.
Grippy sock vacation. All right.
Like one minor inconvenience away from a full meltdown.
The next one on this list is ergophobia, a fear of or aversion to work. Am I right, millennials?
No, but that's okay. Hold on. That's a real fucking thing. Because my last job made me so physically anxious. Like, it made me so anxious driving to work every day that there were a couple times I had to stop and throw up on the side of the road. Like, that's a real thing.
Let's see. In this, it's like, well, I knew at some point sharing a workplace was with a person whom we could without benefit, blah, 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 blah. Oh yeah, so it's basically people who are afraid of like actually working.
Yeah.
Which I didn't understand a little bit. Next one was this hypnophobia, morbid fear of sleep. For those listening, Kate is going to check her witch pot because she's brewing up a potion.
The simmer pot.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Hypnophobia is the morbid fear of sleep, which I don't know. I feel like I can kind of understand because I guess people who would have hypnophobia would probably think that like if they fall asleep, something terrible is gonna happen, and like I guess I totally get that. I mean, Kit's not here to, put in her opinion, but yeah, I totally get the idea of being afraid of sleep. The next one in here is brontophobia, an abnormal fear of thunder.
Locked and loaded.
So Caitlin just said that like she thought what I was gonna say was a fear of brontosauruses, and I'm just imagining now somebody going through like a dinosaur book and just looking at like dinosaurs like, oh, here's a velociraptor, oh, a T-Rex, and then a brontosaurus. And next we have the brontosaurus. Oh God! And now Caitlin is back from checking her pot.
I'm big.
Oh dear God!
Did you like that?
I'm gonna skimming through the rest of this list just to see what else there is. Phobophobia, which is the fear of acquiring a phobia.
Yes!
Phobophobia is the fear of phobias.
I was going to say, please tell me it's the fear of fears.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Quite literally.
This next one I love. Anatidaphobia, which is an irrational fear that somewhere a duck or goose is watching you. Now, I'm going to read it directly from this. What it is, irrational fear that somewhere a duck or goose is watching you. Word history. Anatidae is the bird family that includes waterfowl such as ducks, geese, and swans. Bonus points. You should be afraid.
I do not like the cobra chickens.
I just like the idea that like somebody has this fear. They're like, oh, that's ridiculous. Like you should know that, it's not possible. A duck is not watching you at every turn. And it's off in the distance you hear.
Well, we had a duck couple that lived in our, what are those bushy things? Hostas.
You're just walking through an abandoned parking garage and you're just like, I shouldn't be here alone.
Or even worse.
No,
but actually goose are scary.
Goose are scary because
they're
they
actually
hiss.
terrifying.
They can hiss.
I do not like the cobra chickens.
Goose are assholes.
They are. That's why Canadians are so nice. They channeled all that negative energy into the geese.
Let's see. Going through here. Glossophobia, which, looking at this thing, it seems like it's a fear of public speaking. And I wonder, do you think maybe that like stage fright would kind of be a form of that?
Yeah,
Because glossophobia, I mean, they specifically mention public speaking.
Well, public speaking just sucks in general.
I don't know if... Well, I suppose speaking in front of people versus performing in front of people is two very different things. Like, I used to have really bad... Well, not really bad, but I used to have some form of stage fright. Where, performing in front of people, I would... Like, my heart would race or whatever. It wasn't that bad during Showcase, but that was only because I was with other people on the stage. Like, if I'm by myself, I'm kind of nervous or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I've slowly gotten over that as my introvert slowly evolved into an extrovert.
I think it's fair to say you're an extroverted introvert.
I'm I do a lot of introverted stuff, but I've definitely become way more of an extrovert over the years, especially in my 30s. where I just want to be amongst the people almost all the time, except for some days where I'm just like, ew, gross, don't touch me or I'll kill myself.
Don't touch me. Nobody look at me or I'll kill myself.
Moving on with this list, we have philophobia, which is a fear of love. And that's actually the last one I had on this list.
I'm the problem, it's me.
Philophobia. Let's see. Examples typically refer to the fear of romantic love.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem, it's me.
Let's see. The philophobia would mean fear of love. The Greek word philo, meaning love, is part of familiar words like philosophy, love of wisdom, and philanthropy, love of humankind. Well, as we all know, philosophy is to talk on the serial about religion.
Organized religion is a joke, and I'll die on that hill.
That's a topic for another episode.
You know what's really scary? Religion.
You know what's really scary? Society. And the fact that we live in one.
Well, first, I just hate the fact that we live in a society. What was the other thing he said? Oh, I have two personalities. The nicest clown you'll ever meet, or a twisted fucking psychopath.
Everybody has two wolves inside them. Me, I have two golden retrievers and they're both trying to go after the same treat.
I have two brain cells, both fighting for third place. My little gremlin in a hamster wheel. He's doing all he can.
I liked how every other iteration of Joker was just like, oh, I like to do things because I'm evil and, you know, Gotham needs to burn. And the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is just like, I want to be evil because everybody sucks and I hate them.
Well, yeah, it was an origin story. Speaking of, I'm super pumped for that sequel to come out.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Yeah. Also, Joker, only clown that doesn't scare me. Only clown that probably should.
And that's what we're going to leave this episode on. If you guys have any of your fears or want to discuss any fears, you know, you want to out yourselves on the internet, let us know in the link tree in the description. But with that being said, we're going to end another spooky episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Drink your water.
This is probably the longest episode that we're going to have done in a while. I've been Cameron.
I've been Kate.
And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
Nerds out.